Hey, what's going on, guys? In this video, I want to talk about a book that I recently read that is at the top of my list for fitness books. Now, I don't usually talk about fitness on this channel, but about once a month, I like to bring up, usually a book that I've read in fitness that has really impacted me and I think is worthwhile for anyone that's interested in developing themselves physically. So for this book review, I'm going to go over Bret Contreras' Glute Lab. Now, if you guys are into fitness, some of you may have seen this. It just got released now when I'm filming this, which is the middle of October of 2019. And it's a really fantastic book for a number of reasons. But probably the biggest one is that the glutes are one of the most powerful muscles in the human body, and it's super important to integrate some type of training for them. And if you're into training at all, you're into lower body lifting, developing lifts like your squat or your deadlift, then some of the lifts that he goes over in this book are going to be super useful. For anyone else, it's just important to have a strong lower body, especially your glutes, which are important for, stability and mobility in your hips, knees, and ankles, and all that good stuff. Especially if you're an athlete competing in sports, this is definitely going to help you out. Now, for me personally, I was interested in this book because I have a lot of routines that I do for upper body. In one of the last fitness reviews I did, I talked about a book called Overcoming Gravity, which focuses on gymnastics exercises for your upper body. And one of the interesting things about this book is that it talks in depth about how the upper body and training the whole upper body holistically focuses on balancing movements around the shoulders. For the upper body, the shoulders are super important. Well, similarly, this book goes into excruciating detail about balancing the movements in the lower body to develop the hips, specifically the glutes. So I feel that the combination of these two books and their focus on, practical relative strength training, building up that, strong mobile physique they're just a really great combo when you put some of the workouts and information you learn in this book together with a book that focuses on more of the relative strength training for the upper body and the core. Overcoming Gravity. Now, don't get me wrong, both books focus on the whole body, but I think that if you haven't seen that book review, I'm going to link it below. Make sure to go check it out. But I really feel like combining both of those, you can create some amazing programs. So I'm going to get into this book real quick. We'll go over what it talks about. So one of the biggest things it talks about first is why glute training. This book goes into why glute training for aesthetics, health, strength, and performance. So it talks about, regardless of what your goal is, if you're a bodybuilder, you're training for sports, or you're just trying to do this, to increase your lifts. Like I mentioned before, you're a power lifter, why this is important to you and how you're going to apply it. And this whole section, part 1, is called the importance of glute training. Next, part 2, the science and strength of physique training. So in this one, Bret gets into some of the research behind the different types of training that people use. My biggest takeaway from this section was he talks about studies that more or less prove that what's called the mind-muscle connection, feeling a muscle working while you're working out, actually can improve your physique and your strength. So it's an important thing to not only lift heavier weights, but also to establish that proper form and mind-muscle connection when you're lifting. That's a very small portion of this 6 chapter long part 2, which talks about the science of strength and physique training. And the next one, part 3, the art of strength and physique training. This talks about all the different ways that you can implement training. So it's mostly programming. It talks about how you program different lifts, how they affect your body, and how you can use them in different types of training programs. Whether you're a CrossFit athlete, Olympic lifter, power lifter, bodybuilder, physique athlete, it doesn't matter. It teaches you how to program some of the exercises that he's going to talk out into those workouts. The next part, part 4, periodization, he talks about how to implement all these different programs into a long-term schedule for yourself that'll allow you to reach your goals you want. So this kind of continues on to some of the program design elements in part 3. And then part 4, it takes it on to how to write your whole schedule and your plan for long-term training. The last part, part 5, talks about the exercises, and it breaks them up into hip dominant, knee dominant, and hamstring dominant, quad dominant, and glute dominant lower body exercises. He gives you examples of programs that you can use for the whole body that implement all of these exercises, as well as ways to program these exercises into your workouts if you already have an upper body routine or your full body routine like I have, how to add them on. Now, the thing that I really like about this book is when you're going through it, you can find any details that you want just by zooming in and out on any of these training sections. This isn't the type of book that you have to read from start to finish. You can really use it as a reference for your lower body training and how to program, for me, how I use it is how to program lower body workouts into the rest of my workouts. Anything that I want to know about program design to train the lower body in a balanced way, I know I'm going to find in here. So again, if you haven't already, make sure to check this book out, and in the link below, check out my description of Overcoming Gravity. I do truly feel like combining these two books will give you the best of both worlds in terms of upper body and lower body training and program design, and combining the two has been a super fun way for me to get back into my training, focusing on a lot of these relative strength lifts and gymnastics. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure to hit the like button. Comment below letting me know what you'd like to know about this book, or about my previous fitness review with the book Overcoming Gravity. What questions you guys might have about these topics. I know I don't usually cover this on the channel, but it's always fun to do something a little bit different. So if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so that you're notified anytime that I come out with a new video. And as always, thank you guys for watching.